That breaking news is coming to us right now from Hollywood, Florida. Right now, the police department there is announcing charges stemming from an investigation into the deaths of 12 patients at a rehab center. Those nursing home residents died following Hurricane Irma back in 2017.
This was a terrible tragedy that never should have happened. Last night, our police department invited family members and friends of the 12 victims to police headquarters to personally share with them the information we are providing publicly today. It was an opportunity for the families to ask us questions about this ongoing investigation, as well as the criminal justice process. It was an emotional meeting, and our hearts go out to these families. It is through the hard work and dedication of the Florida Office of the Attorney General, Broward County Office, the State Attorney, the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Broward County Medical Examiner, and the detectives, officers, and crime scene personnel of the Hollywood Police Department that today we announced the arrest of 4 individuals. Former Administrator George Carballo, Supervising Nurse Sergio Collin, Nurse Tamika Miller, and Nurse Althea Maggie. Since the emergency evacuation of the facility on the morning of September 13th, 2017, investigators have conducted hundreds of interviews to gather witness statements, searched, collected, and closely analyzed more than 1,000 pieces of evidence, and painstakingly reviewed countless case files. This criminal investigation has been one of the most extensive in the history of our agency. The Hollywood Police Department has worked closely with our county and state partners to ensure a complete, careful, and comprehensive investigation to equip prosecutors with the ability to successfully hold accountable those responsible for this loss of life. Throughout this investigation, the Hollywood Police Department has maintained full support from our city manager, public safety director, mayor, and commissioners to use any and all available resources to ensure justice for the victims and their families. The Hollywood Police Department remains diligent in investigating all aspects of this case. Additional arrests are anticipated. Throughout this investigation, we have prioritized thoroughness and accuracy over rapid resolution, as our primary focus has always been justice for the victims and their families. I thank the families for their patience and understanding during this very difficult time. The families sitting here today should not have lost their loved ones in this way. They placed their faith and trust in the Rehabilitation Center of Hollywood Hills, its medical and administrative staff, and that trust was betrayed. They have been living an absolute nightmare. The 4 individuals now facing criminal charges failed to take the actions needed to protect their patients and render aid at a time when they needed it the most. I would like to personally thank all the Hollywood police and fire rescue personnel, as well as our state and county partners, for their professionalism and compassion displayed throughout this investigation. So many individuals have worked tirelessly since the onset of this investigation to hold those responsible for the senseless deaths of 12 victims accountable for their actions. Joining me on the stage today are some of these participants. So I'd like to recognize Catherine Moss and Justin McCormick, Assistant State Attorneys from the Office of the State Attorney, Broward County. From the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Special Agent in Charge Omar Perez, Special Agent Richard Caracas, and Special Agent Julie Rivera. From our Hollywood Police Department, Assistant Chief Manny Marino, Major Stephen Bolger, Major Nikki Coffin, Major Jeff Devlin, and Lieutenant Paul Oskowski. I will now turn it over to the department's Criminal Investigations Major Stephen Bolger. We will open it up to questions after he provides an overview of the arrests, charges, and investigation.
Thank you, Chief, and good morning. On November 22nd, 2017, the Hollywood Police Department received the final cause and manner of death from the Broward County Medical Examiner's Office, who ruled it homicide resulting from heat stroke due to environmental issues. The Hollywood Police Department continued its investigation on the following deaths ruled as homicides: victim Carolyn Etherly, Gail Nova, Stella Hendricks, Bobby Owens, victims Miguel and Cecilia Franco, Manuel Mendieta, Albertina Vega, victim Betty Hibbard, Carlos Canal, Martha Murray, and victim Dolores Biamonte. As Chief O'Brien stated earlier, our investigative efforts, along with the assistance of our partnering agencies, have now led to charges against 4 individuals. Facility Administrator George Carballo has been arrested and charged with 12 counts of aggravated manslaughter. Registered nurse and night shift nursing supervisor Sergo Collin has been arrested and has been charged with 12 counts of aggravated manslaughter. LPN Tamika Miller has been arrested and charged with 6 counts of aggravated manslaughter and 3 counts of tampering with evidence in connection with patient medical records. Registered nurse Althea Meggie has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of aggravated manslaughter and 2 counts of tampering with evidence in connection with patient medical records. 3 of these individuals have been taken into custody by the Hollywood Police Department and booked into the Broward County Jail. The 4th individual was taken into custody in Miami-Dade County and is currently awaiting extradition proceedings. Additionally, we'd like to share some information in an effort to quantify the scope and complexities of this particular case. The initial scene processing back in September of 2017 took in excess of 3 weeks, with personnel working around the clock and with more than 1,000 pieces of evidence collected and examined. Over 500 interviews and sworn statements were taken through a combined effort of the Hollywood Police Department's detectives and members of the State Attorney's Office. 55 computers were seized and turned over to U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for technological forensic analysis. Information from these computers was instrumental in both the criminal investigations and the ACCA hearings. A comprehensive review of over 400 hours of video. In December of 2018, we received and reviewed the AG's report, totaling over 3,000 pages, which is positioned here on this table. Over 4,000 pages of documents were examined pertaining to ACCA's administrative report, which included testimony, expert findings, and hearing proceedings. And finally, over 1,200 personnel hours have been dedicated solely to this investigation to date. The actions and inactions of the 4 individuals, the 2 nurses responsible for the hands-on care of patients, the nursing supervisor, and the facility administrator, led to the deaths of these patients. Since September of 2017, it has been the goal of the Hollywood Police Department to get justice for the patients who were medically and physically vulnerable and did not receive the appropriate care at the rehabilitation center. As the chief said earlier, this case continues to be an active investigation, and we do anticipate additional arrests to be made. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now take a few questions. If you have any, please remember that this is an ongoing and active investigation. Yes?
What is it that made this a crime as opposed to just an unfortunate event that spiraled out of control?
Excellent question. Thank you. So basically, the aggravated manslaughter charge is represented when someone causes death through culpable negligence, and it's aggravated due to the fact that it's an elderly person or an incapable adult. So those are the factors that led to that. I would tell you that our investigation has revealed, in rummaging through all of this evidence, that we've met that standard. Well, I think that the recovery of video evidence has proved instrumental in developing our probable cause in this case, which I won't speak to the specifics as it is ongoing, and we're not going to try the case here today, but we believe that that clearly illustrates that their action.
Okay, so right now you are listening to the police department in Hollywood, Florida. They are announcing that they arrested 4 people and charged them in connection to the deaths of 12 people, 12 nursing home residents who died following Hurricane Irma back in 2017. This was at the rehab center at Hollywood Hills. You may remember that rehab center. The air conditioning stopped after Hurricane Irma. The police department there just saying that they arrested those 4 people, and up to 2 of them face up to 12 counts of aggravated manslaughter. They were just kind of detailing the arrest and exactly what happened, and also explaining why the procedure took so long. It's, been 2 years now since Hurricane Irma. They're also saying that they do expect more arrests. This is a story we're going to continue following throughout the day and bring you updates as they happen right here on ABC Action News, streaming now.